It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Machiavelli wrote those words centuries ago, yet they echo in every interaction you face today. The first strike always decides the battle, and most people don't even realize the battle has already begun. They walk into a room, into a conversation, into a negotiation, thinking it is a casual exchange, while the sharper mind has already drawn the sword. Every gesture, every pause, every tone is a weapon on the battlefield of social life. If you treat it as a game of goodwill alone, you will be outmaneuvered before you even know the rules. Consider the smile. A smile can be a sword. In many cases, it signals warmth, but in the hands of a strategist, it cuts deeper than open hostility. The person who smiles at you while delivering criticism asserts dominance without appearing hostile. They cloak the strike in silk, leaving you uncertain whether to defend yourself or accept it. In workplaces, this happens often. A colleague smiling while assigning you extra work, leaving you trapped between politeness and resistance. Understand this: the smile is not always an invitation. Sometimes it is the sharpened edge of power. Do not be blinded by appearances. Train yourself to read the intent behind the mask. Acknowledge the weapon. Without hostility, you do not need to match aggression with aggression. You need to respond with steadiness. When you say calmly, "I'll take responsibility for my priorities first," you shift the blade away from your throat without drawing your own. The battlefield is invisible. It stretches across the tables of coffee shops, where subtle negotiations happen, into offices where promotions are decided in hushed tones, into family living rooms where silence carries more weight than words. Every environment is charged with strategy. A casual dinner can turn into a contest of influence. A meeting can shift alliances without a single explicit command. You are always on the chessboard. Pawns are moved by forces they do not see, while the skilled player sees 5 moves ahead. To survive, you must step out of the pawn's role. Watch how people frame requests, how they arrange timing, how they withhold responses. Each is a calculated move. When you learn to observe these signals, the fog lifts. You stop reacting blindly and begin positioning yourself with intent. The cost of ignorance is enslavement. Those who do not recognize the battle are destined to serve those who do. History repeatedly shows that power does not wait for permission. It is claimed by those who act while others hesitate. Machiavelli warned that men forget the loss of their father faster than the loss of their wealth. This is not cynicism, it is recognition that resources, influence, and security are the true levers of power. In modern life, the same principle applies. If you neglect the reality that every social arena is contested space, you will lose opportunities, authority, and freedom without even knowing they were stolen. To deny the battle is to guarantee defeat. So treat every encounter as an opening move. Stand firm, guard your attention as you would guard the walls of a fortress. Do not assume kindness is neutral. Examine the hand behind the gesture. Refuse to drift as a pawn. Command yourself first, and your presence will speak before you do. Every word, every silence, every step must be intentional. The first strike decides the battle, and the battle is already here. Rule the moment, or be ruled. The throne of power begins in the mind. If you cannot command yourself, you will never command others. Every weakness in thought becomes a breach in the wall, and every lapse of focus allows an enemy to step inside. Social warfare does not start with speeches or strategies. It begins with the silent discipline of your own attention. Imagine your mind as a castle. Each day the gates are tested. Notifications, distractions, doubts, and fears press at the doors like siege weapons. If you allow them in, you surrender control before the real battle even begins. Fortify the castle. Guard your attention as though it were gold, because in truth, it is more valuable than gold. Gold can be stolen once, but a stolen focus can cost you your life's direction. Do not waste mental energy on trivial gossip, endless scrolling, or arguments that offer no gain. Choose carefully what earns entry to your mental stronghold. Inside every fortress there are threats that wear familiar faces. These are the traitors. The voices of self-doubt, the whispers of hesitation, the patterns of procrastination. They do not come with banners and battering rams. They come as insiders, disguised as allies. A traitor within can do more damage than an army outside. You must exile them. When you catch yourself saying, "I'll do it later," or "I'm not ready," recognize that voice for what it is: sabotage. Replace it with a command, sharp and final. Weak: I'll try. Strong: I will. Weak: maybe I can. Strong: I decide. Each word you use in thought is either strengthening the throne or corroding it. The ruler who tolerates traitors cannot rule for long. A throne is defined not just by walls and guards, but by decrees. If you hesitate to decide, your kingdom falls into confusion. Machiavelli observed that indecision destroys rulers faster than defeat in battle. The reason is clear: subjects lose faith when orders are unclear, and enemies sense blood when commands are weak. Translate this truth to your own life. When someone challenges your boundary, perhaps a colleague asks you to take on work that is not yours, do not drift into vague replies. Say with calm authority, "I have commitments that must come first." No anger, no apology, only clarity. The dispute dissolves because your decision stands like law. Others respect those who govern themselves with finality. The mind as the throne is not theory. It is the first battlefield you must win each morning. Guard the gates, expel the traitors, issue clear decrees, rule yourself with discipline, and every interaction carries the weight of command. The war of influence begins within, and the crown is seized by those who master their own kingdom first. Command the mind, or the world commands you. The battle of each day is decided before the world even wakes. The morning is not neutral. It is the battlefield where you either seize initiative or surrender it. When you delay, hesitate, or wander through the first hours aimlessly, you hand the high ground to chaos. A soldier who fails to armor himself before stepping outside is not unlucky when struck. He is unprepared. In the same way, your first actions each morning determine whether you enter the day as a commander or as a captive. Armor comes first. Physical discipline is not vanity. It is ritual defense. A cold shower, deliberate movement, training that pushes your body beyond comfort. These are not luxuries. They are the shields and steel you carry into the arena. History shows that warriors and leaders alike prepared their bodies to prepare their minds. Strength and resilience cultivated early in the day form the invisible armor that repels weakness later. When you train in the morning, you are not merely exercising, you are signaling to yourself that the castle gates are fortified. Do not neglect this ritual. Guard your energy before the demands of others claim it. Once armored, you must strike first. The dawn offensive is the decisive move of any strategist. Before the world floods you with distractions, you claim the initiative. Plan with precision while silence still reigns. Write your priorities as if issuing commands to your troops. Do not wait until the noise begins, because once the enemy's arrows fly, it is too late to decide your formation. Many people stumble into their day, letting emails, messages, or trivial demands dictate their moves. That is like marching an army without scouts, only to be ambushed in the field. Do not be that general. Choose your objectives at dawn. Clarify which tasks deserve your power and which will be ignored. By planning first, you attack the day instead of defending against it. Without order, chaos will march on you. If you fail to claim command of the morning, you will be commanded by circumstance. Every undone task becomes a chain, every delay a battlefield loss. In practical terms, this looks like rushing out the door, reacting to everyone else's urgency, apologizing for being late, or collapsing under obligations you did not set. The disorder spreads quickly, and you find yourself serving other people's agendas instead of your own. This is what happens when the general sleeps through the trumpet call. The army dissolves. The remedy is simple but not easy. Enforce structure. Do not permit the morning to drift. Even hypothetical scenarios show the truth. The one who starts without order is soon forced into the march of another. Treat the morning as war. Armor first, strike first, command first, win the morning, and you establish momentum that carries through the day. Lose the morning, and every hour after becomes recovery. The battlefield awaits at dawn, and only one question remains. Will you lead or will you be led? Conquer the morning, and the day bows to you. Noise is easy. Stillness is power. When you learn to weaponize silence, you gain an edge that words cannot provide. In the wild, predators often pause before they strike. The pause unsettles prey, making them reveal weakness or flee too early. The same principle applies in human interaction. When you remain composed and still, others feel the weight of uncertainty. They begin to question themselves. They wonder if you know something they do not. In negotiations, interviews, or conflicts, the one who can sit in silence longer often dictates the rhythm of the exchange. History shows that leaders who carried themselves with restraint commanded more fear than those who shouted. The absence of reaction becomes a battlefield tactic. This is the predator's pause. When someone challenges you, resist the urge to fill the air immediately. Do not rush to defend, explain, or justify. Pause. Hold your ground in stillness. Often the opponent will overplay their hand, revealing desperation or overcommitment. A pause forces them into motion while you remain anchored. Weak. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Strong, followed by a deliberate, measured response. Stillness is not passivity. It is the sharpening of your blade before the strike. Use silence to extract truth and gain leverage. The echoes of power travel further when spoken sparingly. Those who fill every space with chatter dilute their authority. Words are like arrows. If you fire endlessly, the enemy learns to dodge. If you fire only when necessary, each shot lands with force. People remember the person who speaks less, but delivers clarity. In the workplace, you may notice how those who contribute briefly, yet decisively in meetings, are respected more than those who dominate the room with constant talking. Your silence amplifies your voice. Say less, and each word becomes law. When your presence is marked by restraint, people lean in, waiting for what you will say next. Do not waste this power. Stillness also masks your true intentions. This is the mask of patience. You can appear calm, almost passive, while your mind calculates every angle. Enemies mistake composure for surrender, but composure is cover, like a general waiting behind fortified walls. You appear unmoved while plotting a counterstrike. In everyday life, this could be as simple as holding back in an argument until the other side exhausts themselves. When they finally expect your collapse, you deliver one decisive statement that ends the conflict. Calmness unsettles those who rely on provocation. When you refuse to give them the reaction they seek, their strategy collapses. Weaponized stillness is not about withdrawing from life. It is about commanding the pace of battle. Train yourself to pause like a predator. to speak less and carry greater weight, to mask your movements with patience until the moment of action arrives. Others will talk themselves into weakness. You will sit in silence, waiting, calculating, unshaken. Stillness is the blade no one sees until it cuts. War is not won by carrying the weight of weakness. Strategy demands ruthless elimination, not sentimentality. To rule yourself, you must cut away what drains you, what clutters you, and what disguises itself as harmless but corrodes your strength from within. This is not cruelty, it is survival. In battle, hesitation to remove threats invites destruction. In life, refusing to sever what poisons you ensures defeat before the war has even begun. There is no negotiation with poison. Draining people are not neutral. They are corrosive. They siphon energy, cloud judgment, and leave you weakened when strength is required most. History is full of rulers undone, not by open enemies, but by companions who eroded them slowly. In modern life, this looks like the colleague who always doubts you, the friend who drains with endless complaints, or the partner who manipulates through guilt. Do not pretend you can carry poison without consequence. The cure is decisive removal. Set boundaries, enforce distance, and cut ties when needed. Weak. I guess it's fine. Strong. This ends here. The general who lets rot spread in the ranks cannot blame anyone but himself when the army collapses. Sharpen the blade. Complexity dulls command. A leader cannot issue 10 contradictory orders and expect loyalty. The army fragments. Your life works the same way. Every piece of clutter, every half-commitment, every unnecessary distraction weakens your edge. Simplicity is not minimalism for its own sake. It is efficiency for war. Cut out what does not advance your mission. This could mean clearing the desk before strategy, limiting digital noise, or refusing commitments that scatter your focus. When you simplify your energy channels like a spear instead of scattering like sand, ask yourself often, does this sharpen or dull my blade? If it dulls, it must go. Mercy can be a weakness when misplaced. Machiavelli warned that excessive kindness breeds rebellion because those spared begin to forget the severity of command. Applied to daily life, false kindness is tolerating disrespect, excusing repeated violations, or allowing others to cross lines because you fear confrontation. Mercy in these cases is not virtue, it is self-sabotage. Consider a manager who refuses to correct a disruptive team member out of niceness. That leniency does not inspire loyalty, it emboldens defiance. True strength is measured in decisive enforcement, not in endless tolerance. When you hold the line with calm firmness, others learn respect. The art of ruthless elimination is not destruction for its own sake. It is pruning the tree so it grows strong. It is removing infection so the body survives. It is recognizing that every weakness you tolerate today becomes a weapon used against you tomorrow. Command yourself with clarity. Cut away poison without hesitation. Sharpen your edge daily. Show mercy where it strengthens, never where it corrodes. Eliminate weakness and strength will serve you. Armies move not only for steel but for symbols. The mask of command has turned battles before swords ever crossed. Machiavelli observed that appearances often outweigh reality in determining how rulers are judged. Presence, posture, and image are not decorations, they are weapons. In the field of social warfare, those who master their mask command obedience before they speak. First, the armor of perception. You must appear stronger than you are and never expose weakness openly. In history, generals have deliberately exaggerated the size of their forces, lighting multiple fires at night to convince the enemy of overwhelming numbers. The lesson is timeless. People judge you based on what they see, not what they cannot measure. In the workplace, this means carrying yourself with composure even when you feel pressure internally. Do not mistake this for deception. It is protection. Weak. I'm overwhelmed. Strong. I'll manage this with focus. The difference is not about lying, it is about refusing to bleed in front of those who may use it against you. When you project steadiness, others hesitate to test you. Second, the crown without the throne. To act like a ruler before you are one is not arrogance but preparation. People respond to cues of authority before titles are given. If you walk into a room with shoulders collapsed, eyes down, and voice uncertain, no title can rescue you. If you enter upright, with deliberate pace, holding silence until you choose to speak, influence rises naturally. In modern terms, this is how promotions are earned before they are granted. Leaders are recognized because they carry themselves as such long before official authority arrives. One micro-example. A disagreement arises in a meeting. While others argue, you wait, then calmly say, "Let's clarify the objective before debating tactics." The room quiets because authority is felt, not demanded. Command flows to those who display composure under fire. Third, the performance of power. Masks are not lies, they are armor for different terrains. A commander wears ceremonial dress for morale, armor for battle, and plain clothes for strategy. Each is a mask designed to achieve effect. In your life, you must adapt the mask to the arena. With peers, the mask may be confidence-edged with humility. With rivals, the mask may be restrained and edged with certainty. Pretending masks do not exist leaves you naked on the field. Embrace them as instruments. Master which version of yourself to display so that perception aligns with your goal. The mask of command is a discipline. Appear steady. Act like the ruler you are becoming. Wear the right armor for each arena. You do not owe the world raw exposure. You owe yourself protection, presence, and power. Remember, the throne is claimed not only by force but by image. Command begins with how you are seen. It is better to be impetuous than cautious, for fortune is a woman and favors boldness. Hesitation has killed more rulers, generals, and thinkers than open defeat ever did. The enemy inside you is not the rival across the table, but the hesitation in your own mind. This is the inner assassin, the figure you must unleash to destroy doubt, excuses, and delay before they destroy you. Doubt must be strangled quickly. Indecision corrodes confidence faster than error. A wrong choice can be corrected, but no choice leaves you paralyzed and dependent on the moves of others. History shows that generals who delayed often lost without battle. When you linger, opportunities vanish, and the initiative falls to your enemy. In your life, this might be the hesitation to speak when silence concedes authority, or the pause that lets someone else take the chance that should have been yours. Weak, I'll wait and see. Strong, I decide now. The assassin within you must kill doubt on sight. Do not wait for certainty. Certainty never arrives. Act and then adjust from the strength of movement. Excuses are daggers pointed inward. They are not harmless rationalizations. They are weapons you stab into your own chest while pretending to defend yourself. Every time you say, "I don't have time," or "I'll start tomorrow," you cut away a piece of your own throne. Modern life tempts you with endless justifications. The phone, the fatigue, the illusion that small delays are harmless. All of them are excuses that corrode resolve. You must assassinate them as you would an infiltrator in the night. Replace weak language with commanding language. Weak, I'll try. Strong, I will. Weak, I can't because. Strong, I choose to do this now. Do not tolerate excuses from yourself, because once tolerated, they multiply. The final act of the inner assassin. is ruthless execution of choices. Kill quickly, then move on. Dragging decisions out is like stabbing an enemy and leaving them half alive, only to face them again tomorrow. When you decide, commit fully, and then let it be done. Hypothetically, picture two commanders, one who executes orders with finality, and one who constantly revisits the same ground, shifting, hesitating, revising. The first builds momentum and inspires confidence. The second weakens morale and invites rebellion. In your own life, the same law applies. If you choose a direction, pursue it without looking back. The assassin's blade is sharp because it cuts once. This is not cruelty. It is clear. To unleash the inner assassin is to end hesitation, to silence excuses, and to strike decisively when the moment calls. Without this, you drift, you stall, and you are ruled by your own weakness. With it, you move through life with force, precision, and respect. Commanders are remembered, not for endless debates, but for decisions that shaped the field. Become that commander in your own life. Strike within, and nothing can strike you down. Power is not given to the sheep. Power belongs to the wolf, and the wolf survives because it feeds its hunger every day. Discipline and desire are not accidents. They are cultivated like a predator sharpening its fangs. If you want to endure and command, you must feed the wolf within you and starve the sheep that drags you into comfort and weakness. Starve the sheep. Laziness is disguised as rest, distraction, or indulgence, but every hour wasted is food given to the wrong creature. The sheep wants safety, ease, and endless grazing. It is content with the ordinary if you allow it to feed. Ambition starves, and the throne is surrendered without a fight. To reverse this, you must deny yourself the habits that soften you. Wake with urgency, not delay. Choose training over excuses, clarity over noise, and action over drifting. Weak. I'll get to it later. Strong. I do it now. Every small choice either starves the sheep or strengthens the wolf. Do not compromise. The hunt itself must become a ritual. Wolves sharpen their instincts through pursuit, not by waiting for prey to collapse in front of them. The same is true for you. It is not the reward alone that makes you dangerous, it is the chase. History shows that leaders and warriors grew sharper through constant engagement with struggle. The pursuit of goals, whether learning, building, or training, trains your mind for combat long before the prize is secured. Do not wait for the perfect condition to move. Hunt daily. Chase what strengthens you even when no one watches. The ritual of pursuit keeps your instincts alive, while stagnation dulls them into sheepishness. Blood in the snow is the mark of survival. Hypothetically, picture the wolf in winter. Hunger gnaws, cold cuts, and yet it thrives by leaning into the struggle. It does not resent the difficulty, it sharpens itself against it. Your life will have winters of hardship, scarcity, and resistance. Do not interpret these as punishments. See them as the proving ground where the wolf is fed. When you meet obstacles, lean forward, not back. The harder the fight, the richer the feast for your strength. Feeding the wolf is not cruelty to yourself. It is loyalty to your future. By starving laziness, honoring the hunt, and embracing struggle, you forge a self that cannot be broken by circumstance. Those who deny their wolf remain sheep, waiting to be herded, ruled, or consumed. Those who feed their wolf rise, feared and respected, commanding their place without apology. Feed the wolf and it will carry you to the throne. Willpower is not permanent. It is forged like steel, heated, hammered, and hardened again each day. If you believe the strength of will is fixed, you are already disarmed. The throne is reserved for those who treat their willpower as a weapon that must be reforged daily, without fail, in the fire of discipline and resistance. Discipline is the forge. Habits are the hammer striking the steel of your mind. Every repeated action builds or breaks your will. If you begin the day with structure, you set the rhythm for command. If you drift, you hand the field to chaos. Leaders throughout history understood the force of ritual. Soldiers drilled daily not because they enjoyed repetition, but because repetition hardened their instincts until hesitation was impossible. You must do the same. Build habits that sharpen your focus, train your body, and anchor your resolve. Do not wait for motivation. Discipline is the forge that produces it. Weak, I'll see how I feel. Strong, I do it because it must be done. Each choice becomes a strike on the steel of your will. The fire of resistance tempers that steel. Comfort never strengthens you. Resistance is the heat that hardens resolve. Modern life is engineered for ease, but ease corrodes command. When you face obstacles, missed opportunities, setbacks, opposition, see them as flames that shape you. A soldier who never marches through storms collapses at the first thunder. A mind untested by resistance fractures under pressure. Seek a challenge deliberately. Take on tasks that stretch you, confront discomfort instead of avoiding it, and embrace failures as lessons. The more you expose yourself to controlled difficulty, the stronger your will becomes under uncontrolled chaos. Do not curse resistance, wield it. From this forge and fire emerges a sword that cannot break. Imagine a blade that has been hammered countless times, tempered in fire and polished until it gleams indestructible. This is your will when ritual, discipline, and resistance have worked upon it long enough. Hypothetically, picture yourself entering a negotiation, a conflict, or a personal crisis. Others falter, voices tremble, and patience cracks. You remain unshaken because your will is no longer fragile glass. It is steel. You do not need to boast of it. Presence reveals it. The sword does not declare it is sharp. It proves itself when drawn. The iron will ritual is not glamorous. It is daily, often unseen, and sometimes exhausting. But without it, you are a soldier without armor, a ruler without defenses, a player on the board with no piece left to move. Forge discipline, embrace resistance, and carry the indestructible sword of will into every arena. The world bends not to talent alone, but to those who endure where others collapse. Forge the will daily, and nothing can break you. The highest form of power is not striking others, but becoming untouchable yourself. When no handle exists to grab, no chain can be fastened, and no weakness can be exploited, you move beyond ordinary conflict. The general who shows no gap in formation terrifies the enemy into hesitation. The ruler who reveals no desperation commands loyalty without begging. The individual who has sealed their vulnerabilities stands as a fortress on the hill, seen, respected, and unassailable. No handles, no chains. Every time you expose a weakness without caution, you give others something to use against you. This is not about hiding humanity, but about refusing to hand out weapons that will later be turned on you. In politics, leaders who revealed private vices were often destroyed not by their policies, but by those flaws magnified by rivals. In modern life, it is the overshared insecurity, the careless confession, or the uncontrolled reaction that becomes leverage for manipulation. You must learn what to reveal and what to guard. Show confidence, not fragility. Display strength, not apology. Weak, I need everyone to approve me. Strong, I stand by my choice. By closing off these handles, you deny chains from ever being fastened. The fortress of self is the next layer. Opinion, criticism, and praise can all destabilize the unprepared. If your sense of worth rises and falls with what others say, you are ruled by their voices, not your own. The fortress of self is built on autonomy, deciding that your foundation comes from discipline, values, and chosen direction rather than from external approval. In practice, this means standing calm when colleagues doubt you, holding steady when friends disagree, and refusing to crumble under disapproval. A micro example: when a coworker questions your approach in a meeting, instead of lashing out or shrinking back, you reply evenly, "I've weighed the risks, and this is the direction I'll lead." The fortress stands unmoved. When others see you cannot be shaken by opinion, respect grows. Finally, the Shadow King. Hypothetically, imagine a ruler whose authority is so complete that it radiates beyond touch. He is both feared and loved because he is self-contained, needing neither flattery nor defense. He moves like a figure in shadow, present yet unreachable, admired yet beyond manipulation. This image is the culmination of self-mastery. You cannot bribe him with approval or destroy him with criticism, because his sovereignty is internal. To embody this is not to isolate, but to stand apart as one who is beyond petty attack. Presence itself becomes untouchable power. Becoming untouchable is not about denying connection or building walls so high no one can approach. It is about removing every easy weapon others could use against you, building an inner fortress no voice can shake, and carrying yourself as a sovereign who moves through the world with calm command. Once you reach this level, attacks fall short, chains break, and presence alone dictates the outcome. Be untouchable, and no one can rule you. It is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both, those words are not an invitation to cruelty but a demand for sovereignty. To be feared and loved in balance is the highest form of command. The 5 laws you have walked through are not fragments, they are weapons of a single arsenal. Together they converge into the archetype of the social sovereign, the figure who cannot be ignored, cannot be swayed, and cannot be broken. This convergence is not optional. Without it, you remain prey on the battlefield of life. All weapons drawn. Imagine silence forged into a blade, ritual hammered into armor, image shaped into a shield, and will hardened into steel. Each law alone grants advantage, but together they form command. Stillness unsettles rivals because you reveal nothing. Ritual strengthens you daily until discipline becomes second nature. The mask of command projects authority before you speak. The inner assassin cuts hesitation at its root, leaving only decisive movement. Feeding the wolf ensures your hunger is never dulled, and the iron ritual tempers you against fire. Each principle is a piece of warcraft, but the convergence makes them unstoppable. When you walk into a room carrying this arsenal, you do not need to announce yourself. Presence alone dictates the outcome. This is not fiction, it is the truth of human interaction. People respect clarity, they submit to confidence, and they hesitate before unshaken strength. The throne or the chains. In every arena you face a binary: ascend as ruler or remain ruled. There is no middle ground in power dynamics. At work, either you define your role or others define it for you. In relationships, either you set boundaries or you are controlled by demands. In society, either you think critically or you are steered by propaganda. The throne or the chains is not metaphorical luxury, it is daily reality. Those who drift without command become pawns, moved across the board. Those who master themselves sit at the table where decisions are made. A simple micro example: in a meeting, 2 colleagues argue over process. One loses composure, raising his voice, while the other sits calm, waits, and speaks with precision. The calm one wins the room, not because of a louder voice, but because of steadier presence. This is the throne in action, the immortal archetype. Hypothetically, imagine a sovereign seated in shadow, feared for his strength, respected for his restraint, untouchable because he has no handles to seize. He is not a tyrant, he is beyond the reach of petty attack, loved by some, feared by others, but always commanding respect because his foundation is internal. This archetype is eternal because it is not bound to a time or place. It exists wherever humans gather. In offices, in politics, in communities, the Shadow King archetype endures. When you embody this, you step into the current of history itself. You become more than individual preference. You become a standard of authority. People may disagree with you, but they cannot dismiss you. They may attempt to undermine you, but their efforts fall short because your strength is not dependent on them. You carry yourself like one already crowned, and the world responds in kind. The convergence demands action. Draw all weapons, or remain vulnerable. Choose the throne, or live in chains. Embody the sovereign archetype, or dissolve into the crowd. Each law on its own sharpens you, but the unity transforms you. This transformation is not comfort, it is war. War against distraction, against hesitation, against weakness, against dependency. But victory here does not only grant you control over others, it grants you mastery over yourself. Social sovereign is not fantasy. It is the reality of those who dare to rule themselves so completely that the world bends in recognition. When silence, ritual, image, will, and hunger converge, you step into untouchable command. Remember, you are not here to drift. You are here to rule the moment, to rule yourself, and by doing so to rule the field you enter. Ascend the throne or remain in chains. The throne is not claimed once and secured forever. It must be reinforced daily through ritual, discipline, and deliberate choice. Power is a practice, not a moment. The 5 laws you have learned are not theories to admire but weapons to wield. If you fail to enforce them each day, weakness creeps back in and the crown slips from your head. You cannot negotiate with distraction, hesitation, or dependency. You must treat these laws as unbreakable rituals, the same way a soldier straps on armor before stepping onto the field. Each morning you decide, will I command myself or will I be commanded by the world? There is no neutral ground. Daily enforcement is simple in principle, but relentless in practice. You silence excuses before they gather strength. You carry yourself as if authority already belongs to you, even when no one else sees it. You sharpen your focus by eliminating noise and refuse to let poison back into your circle. A ruler does not check if his guards are at the gate. He commands them to be there. You must hold yourself to the same standard. Weak, I'll try to follow through. Strong, I will follow through. The crown rests on those who demand consistency from themselves before demanding it from others. A crown is not only armor, it is also a symbol. You need a mantra that seals the laws into your identity. Words are not empty when spoken with conviction. They are banners raised above the fortress of your mind. Declare it, and let it govern your posture, tone, and choices. I am the throne, the storm, the shadow. I endure, I command, I am untouchable. This mantra is not fantasy, it is reinforcement. It tells you who you are when fatigue whispers otherwise, when doubt presses at the gates, when critics attempt to unseat you. Say it until it becomes instinct. The predator within you must hear it daily and grow sharper with each repetition. Legacy is born from mastery. Respect does not come from claims of power, but from its demonstration over time. History shows that those who enforce their own laws consistently earned loyalty, even from rivals. Influence becomes lasting when others see that your authority is not momentary fire, but enduring flame. When you live the 5 laws, people may fear you, they may admire you, but above all they will respect you, and respect, once cemented, outlives you. The throne you build in yourself becomes a fortress others cannot forget. The laws are in your hands. Enforce them as rituals. Crown yourself with the mantra of command. Live as predator, not prey, and let mastery carve your legacy. Rule yourself and the world will bow.